over there playing peanuts.
I'm playing again today because my ego was bruised by a weatherman from Erie, Pennsylvania.
I know why Tom's mad. He wasn't voted in the top 10 of the sexiest bald men alive. That's what I'm hearing.
I took that shit personally, man.
I think you're too much of a f***ing p***y.
20 to 13. You gotta be kidding me. Black and white says I'm not kidding.
Ball's wet. Hey, was that in? That's some...
After months of constant shit-talking, speculation, and anticipation, it appears we finally have a conclusion in the Tom Segura vs. Erie, Pennsylvania weatherman beef. If you're not sure what we're talking about right now, we posted a video a few months back recapping the entire situation involving Tom and the weatherman, so watch that real quick and then come back. And don't forget to come back, please.
I essentially made a comment about, okay, you know, instead of me being on your podcast, let's go play a game of basketball one-on-one. I wear my jeans high and tight.
But then he was like, if I played you, I would destroy you. And I just, you know, I took that shit personally, man.
So the game took place in Austin, Texas on February 24th, with the footage being uploaded to YouTube last week. The rules were simple. Make it take it, ones and twos, game to 21.
If you want to come to Austin, Texas to play one-on-one,
not again,
I will donate $50,000 to the charity of your choice if you win. But if I win,
I have to keep my Instagram open for a year, and I have to make an apology video that he approves of.
Which means there's gonna be notes.
Going into this matchup, I was very confident in Tom. He had way more to lose in this situation, so the motivation's gotta be through the roof. Plus, he has the home court advantage and appears to be in way better shape, but obviously we all remember what happened the last time Tom Segura played basketball.
Ended up in the hospital. I tore my patellar tendon, I shattered my arm. I couldn't do anything for months. I had to do rehab and it was a disaster, yeah. I fucked myself up real bad.
Now, before we get into what happened during the game, there's something the weatherman said in this video that made this entire feud between him and Tom seem like just a big misunderstanding.
Earlier in that newscast, we had actually ran a story about the sexiest bald man alive. And so when the two news anchors tossed it to me, I was like, look, I know why Tom's mad. He wasn't voted in the top 10 of the sexiest bald men alive. That's what I'm hearing. That was kind of like my, yeah, I'm gonna punch back at this guy. And that is what ended up on the podcast.
You did not.
David Wolter, 87. Check your social media in about an hour, pal.
I think all of us, including Tom, got so annoyed with this guy in the first place because it seemed like the sexiest bald man joke was some cringy, random attempt at roasting Tom that barely made any sense. But David explaining that they had just run a story about the sexy bald man competition adds so much context that now it's an innocent, not even that bad callback joke on their own broadcast. As far as the game goes, it started off with all the pure domination Tom predicted. He got to his spots early and often, his shot looked good, and he jumped out to a quick 20-9 lead. It really seemed like Tom was cruising to an easy win, but that's exactly when the madness started. The ref, who ended up being one of the more entertaining parts of this whole ordeal, made a horrible call that gave David Wolter the ball and the momentum.
David's ball. What? David's ball. You gotta be kidding me. Black and white says I'm not kidding.
That ref is corrupt, but he also high-fived me during the game, which is super unethical.
David took this gift from the ref and ripped off 8 straight buckets, each one more wild than the next. These were some Hail Marys just chucking the ball at the hoop, and it was working. The comeback was in full effect, and the main mommies were in panic mode until Tom was able to finally get a stop and go to work down low for the win.
That's ball game, folks.
Look, I don't think suicide is something to joke about, but if I had lost him, I would have killed myself.
Overall, it was pretty cool to watch David Wolter finally embrace Tom and the YMH fans lean into some of these jokes, play in this game, and accept these challenges. He posted the agreed upon apology video that was full of all the YMH lingo he's picked up from his comment section the past few months.
I'd love to talk about Hawaii, but I have some important things to say. I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to Tom Segura. He's a very smart and sexy bald man, and personally, I think he should be at the top of the sexiest bald man alive list. He's got that beautiful mouth, and he's built in such a way. My brother didn't believe me at first, but he believes me now. I said I'd destroy Tom on the basketball court, and I didn't. He proved himself to be a worthy opponent. I'd like to think we've gained respect for each other, both personally and on the court. Congrats, Tom, you beat me. As far as the rematch goes, if you want to do it again, you better believe me, I'm coming up in May.
Personally, I wish they posted a full version of this game somewhere. I actually wanted to see these guys hoop, not just watch a cut up of all their made baskets. But I guess that's probably better for the YouTube algorithm. Also, I reached out to David Wolter many times to come on this show and do an interview for all of us with no response, which kind of makes me mad because he literally said in his apology video that he'd love to meet us.
I'd like to tell every Tom and YMH fan this. You're welcome to my page and at my house. Literally. I can't give out my physical address because of security reasons, but Lord knows I'd love to meet ya.
The Comedy Mothership has been open for 2 weeks now and continues to be the coolest thing to ever exist. Since our video last week detailing the Mothership's first kill, Tony, dope shit just keeps happening at Joe Rogan's new club. They've officially opened both rooms, and it seems like every single night there's a different comedy legend casually dropping by this club, including Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, Pete Davidson, Pauly Shore, and so many more. This place has been doing everything right, and still somehow it feels like it's not even close to its final form or full potential yet. If you're a fan of comedy, it's really hard to find anything not to like about this place, except for maybe the scarce amount of tickets available, but that's kind of unavoidable, or at least to be expected when the host of the biggest podcast on earth opens up his own club and stocks it with the funniest people he can find. Also, the Mothership has made it very clear they do not accept resale tickets, so if you're thinking about trying to attend a show, please be careful out there. Guest spots from last week. Your Mom's House did not have a guest. Two Bears, One Cave was Bert and Adam Devine. Kill Tony Tonight is with Tim Dillon and Roseanne Barr. Flagrant had on Ben Van Kerkwick. Phil Hanley was the guest on Stavvy's World. Bert Kreischer was on Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. Bert was also on the Honest Pappas Hour, and Mark Norman was on the Blocks Podcast.
One time I fell asleep with a girl spooning on a couch, so I just was peeing like into her ass, basically, and the couch was leather, so it pooled. Oh, it was brutal. I never went back.
But I gotta say, if it's the kind of couch I think it was, it was fine.
Luckily, it was a boozy time. It's New Orleans, it's the South, it's college, so it wasn't that crazy, but it was still brutal.
No, I'm sure a lot of people were peeing into other people on love seats. Now,
R. Kelly.
This past weekend with Theo Vaughn had on George Kittle. The Joe Rogan Experience talked with Shane Gillis. Whiskey Ginger had on Jimmy Carr. Miss Pat was on The Honeydew. Josh Peck was on Bad Friends. Neil Brennan was on We Might Be Drunk. Kevin Nealon was on The Harland Highway. And for all the stoolies out there, Bussin' with the Boys had on Shane Gillis and Bert Kreischer. As far as new stand-up comedy specials that are out right now or coming out soon, Bert Kreischer Razzle Dazzle came out last week on Netflix, which is why Bert's on this current podcast run. We've also been talking about this for a while now, but Big J Okerson Dog Belly is coming to YouTube on April 5th. 3 weeks after that, John Mulaney is dropping his latest special titled Baby J on Netflix. Russell Brand has a new special on Rumble, and Jeremiah Watkins' Daddy comes out on YouTube tomorrow. And some Joke World news real quick to wrap up the end of this video. We have a special announcement coming later this week that I think you guys are gonna be really excited for. It's interactive, it's fun, it's gonna be great. So just keep an eye out for that later this week. We're gonna have some sort of announcement, exciting, fun, like I just said. Other than that, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Joke World Comedy News Update. Every single Monday, bringing you all the news you need to know from your favorite comedians, your favorite podcasts, yada, yada, yada. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want. This is the end of the video.